Welcome back to another soul stirring episode of Journey to Success. I'm Emily Carter, your host, and today we're diving into a deeply transformative topic: learning to listen to yourself. Joining us is an extraordinary guest, Dr. Sophia Reynolds, renowned mindfulness coach, best-selling author, and inner wisdom expert who's guided thousands to connect with their authentic selves and live with clarity and purpose. Sophia, it's an absolute joy to have you with us today.
Thank you, Emily. I'm truly honored to be here and explore a subject that's not just about hearing your inner voice but about embracing it as a compass for a life of meaning, courage, and fulfillment.
I'm so excited to soak up your wisdom. Listening to ourselves can feel elusive in a world full of noise and expectations. Sophia, let's start with the big picture. Why is learning to listen to yourself so essential for personal growth and success, and how does it shape our journey?
That's a beautiful question, Emily, and it really gets to the heart of why tuning into yourself is so vital. Listening to yourself means honoring your inner voice, your intuition, emotions, values, and desires, over the clamor of external pressures, whether it's society's demands, others' opinions, or even your own self-doubt. It's essential because that inner voice is your truest guide, offering clarity about who you are and what you're meant to pursue. When you listen deeply, you make choices aligned with your authentic self, which fosters confidence, resilience, and a sense of purpose that fuels both personal growth and success. Without it, you might chase paths that feel hollow, jobs, relationships, or goals that don't reflect you, leading to burnout or disconnection. With it, you craft a life that's not just successful by external measures but profoundly fulfilling, where every step resonates with your core. I think of Maya Angelou, who said, "Listen to yourself, and in that quietude you might hear the voice of God." Her journey of listening, through trauma, silence, and self-discovery, birthed I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, touching millions. Early in my own path, I was a corporate consultant in Denver, racing through deadlines, pleasing clients, but feeling empty, like I was living someone else's life. I ignored my unease, thinking it was normal. But when I started listening, through meditation, journaling, pausing, I heard my truth. I wanted to help people find peace, not profits. That shift led me to coaching, writing books, and building a practice that's transformed thousands. Listening to yourself isn't self-indulgence, it's the foundation of a life where growth and success flow from authenticity, guiding you to a path that's uniquely yours.
That's such a radiant perspective, Sophia. Listening as a compass for authenticity. Angelou's journey is so powerful. You mentioned your shift from consultant to coach. Can you walk us through how someone can start learning to listen to themselves, especially if they feel disconnected or drowned out by life's noise?
Absolutely, Emily. The first step is to create quiet space for inner connection. Our world is loud, phones buzzing, schedules packed, so you need intentional pauses to hear yourself. Start small, 5 minutes daily, no distractions, just sitting with your thoughts or feelings. Ask gentle questions like, "What am I feeling right now?" or "What do I need?" Journaling is a powerful tool. Write freely, no editing, to let your inner voice surface. It's like clearing fog to see the stars. I draw inspiration from Anne Frank, who said, "I can shake off everything as I write, my sorrows disappear, my courage is reborn." Her diary was her sanctuary, revealing her soul amid chaos. When I was disconnected, I'd rush through days, meetings, emails, ignoring my exhaustion, telling myself to push through. I felt like a robot, not a person. Frank's courage to write inspired me. I started journaling mornings, scribbling fears, joys, even random thoughts like, "I hate reports, love helping." It revealed my longing for coaching. I took a course, left my job, and my practice soared, my books resonating globally. I coached a client named Sarah, a barista who felt lost, buried under bills and noise. She thought listening was for spiritual types. Inspired by Frank, she journaled 5 minutes nightly. "I'm tired, I love art." It led her to painting classes. She's now an illustrator, thriving. Quiet space isn't luxury, it's a lifeline to your inner voice, reconnecting you to who you are. Another key step is to honor your emotions without judgment. Feelings, joy, fear, sadness, are messengers, not enemies. Instead of dismissing them, notice them. I'm anxious, what's this about? Let them guide you to needs or truths. I learned this from Oprah Winfrey, who said, "Your feelings are your GPS for life." Her listening to her emotions built a legacy of impact. I used to suppress stress, thinking it was weak. My health suffered, my work dulled. Oprah's wisdom shifted me. I named my fatigue, realized I needed purpose. It fueled my coaching pivot, my seminars packed rooms. Sarah honored her sadness, it showed she craved creativity, sparking her art. Emotions and quiet moments don't overwhelm, they illuminate, teaching you to listen with kindness and uncover your path.
Those are such nurturing steps, Sophia, creating quiet and honoring feelings. Frank and Oprah make it so approachable. But what about when external pressures, like others' expectations or societal norms, make it hard to trust your inner voice? How do you stay true to what you hear?
Oh, Emily, external pressures are like a chorus, drowning out your solo with their demands, be this, do that. The key is to anchor to your core values. Values are your inner truth, freedom, integrity, connection, and they act like a filter, helping you discern what's yours versus what's imposed. One tool is a values check-in. List your top 3 values, then ask, does this choice align with them? It grounds you against the noise. I draw from Nelson Mandela, who said, I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. His values, justice, equality, kept him true in prison, reshaping a nation. When I faced pressure, clients wanted me to stay corporate, family urged stability, I doubted my coaching dream, feeling selfish. Mandela's resolve helped. I listed values, growth, service, and checked, corporate pays, coaching aligns. I chose coaching, my practice tripled, my books inspired thousands. I coached a client named Michael, a chef pushed to manage, not cook, by his boss and peers. He felt trapped, his voice fading. Inspired by Mandela, he valued creativity, he checked, left management, and opened a food truck, thriving. Values anchor you, silencing external clamor. Another strategy is setting boundaries with intention. Say no to demands that clash with your truth, not to be rigid, but to protect your inner voice. I learned this from Michelle Obama, who said, you don't have to say yes to everything. Her boundaries fueled her advocacy. I used to overcommit, pleasing others, my intuition faded. Obama's no taught me, I blocked time for reflection, my clarity grew, my seminars shone. Michael set boundaries, less shifts, more cooking, his joy returned. Boundaries and values don't isolate, they empower, letting your inner voice sing loud and clear.
That's so liberating, Sophia, values and boundaries as truth keepers. Mandela and Obama bring it to life. You've mentioned incredible figures like Angelou and Frank. Are there other famous people whose inner listening inspires you?
Oh, absolutely, Emily. Listening to oneself shines through so many remarkable lives. Take J.K. Rowling, who said, it is our choices that show what we truly are. Struggling as a single mom, she listened to her story, writing Harry Potter despite rejection. Her inner voice built a magical world. When my workshops lagged, attendees disengaged, I leaned on Rowling, I journaled, heard I needed authenticity, and added personal stories. My sessions sold out, my books soared. I coached a client named Olivia, a nurse who felt ordinary, ignoring her dreams. Rowling's choice led her to listen, she loved teaching, now leads training, radiant. Another is Malala Yousafzai, who said, I tell my story not because it is unique, but because it is the story of many girls. Her inner voice, despite danger, fueled a Nobel. When a book flopped, Malala's courage inspired me, I meditated, heard Keep Helping, and pivoted to talks, reaching millions. Olivia, inspired by Malala, heard her care, she reformed units, glowing. Then there's Steve Jobs, who said, your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. His intuition crafted Apple. I coached a client named Ethan, a coder lost in routine, feeling nothing. Jobs' clarity led him to listen, he loved mentoring, built a nonprofit, thriving. These icons, Rowling's choice, Malala's courage, Jobs' intuition, show listening isn't quiet, it's a force, shaping lives of impact.
Those stories are so uplifting, Sophia. Rowling, Malala, Jobs, they show listening's power. What about when self-doubt creeps in, making you question your inner voice? How do you trust what you hear?
Self-doubt is like static, Emily, it crackles, making your inner voice sound faint or wrong. The key is to test your intuition in small ways. Act on one small nudge, call a friend, try a hobby, and see what happens. Success builds trust, missteps teach. One tool is an intuition log, note what you felt, what you did, and the outcome, to see your voice's wisdom. I draw from Brené Brown, who said, "Trusting yourself is the bravest thing you'll ever do." Her vulnerability fuels her work. When I doubted coaching, thinking, "I'm not enough," I hesitated, fear won. Brown's trust helped, I logged a nudge, try one session. It clicked, my practice grew, my books flew. I coached a client named Rachel, a writer doubting her talent, ignoring urges to publish. She felt fake. Inspired by Brown, she logged, write one page. It sold, she's published now. Testing intuition quiets doubt, proving your voice is true. Another strategy is grounding in past wins. Recall times your gut led right, a job, a friend, to remind you it's reliable. I learned from Viktor Frankl, who said, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude." His intuition survived camps. I used to question myself, Frankl's wins helped, I recalled choosing teaching, it worked, so I trusted coaching. Rachel recalled pitching, it landed, so she wrote. Grounding and testing build trust, amplifying your inner voice over doubt static.
That's so empowering, Sophia. Testing intuition and grounding in wins. Brown and Frankl make it vivid. How do we sustain listening to ourselves long-term, especially when life's busyness or distractions pull us away?
Sustaining inner listening is like tending a garden, it blooms with steady care, even through storms. One habit is daily micropauses. Take 2 minutes to check in, what's my heart saying? Morning or night? I learned from Thich Nhat Hanh, who said, "The present moment is filled with joy and happiness." His mindfulness fuels peace. I pause mornings, what feels right, my coaching thrives, my books grow. I coached a client named Anna, a lawyer lost in cases. Hahn's pause led her to listen, she found mentoring, shining. Another key is curating your environment. Surround yourself with calm, nature, music, people who honor your truth, to hear clearly. Maya Angelou said, "The desire to reach for the stars is ambitious." Her spaces fueled art. I walk parks, it sharpens my voice, my talks soar. Anna chose quiet cafes, her clarity grew, she leads teams. Also, celebrate inner wins. Note times you listened, a choice, a risk, to reinforce trust. Desmond Tutu said, "We are all in the process of becoming." His joy reconciled nations. I mark wins, followed a hunch, it worked, my practice shines. I coached a client named Mark, a salesman ignoring his gut. Tutu's joy led him to celebrate, he pivoted to training, thriving. Finally, anchor to purpose. Your why, love, impact, keeps listening alive. Abraham Lincoln endured for unity, saying, "I do the very best I know how." My why, guiding, centers me. These habits, pauses, environment, wins, purpose, sustain listening, making your inner voice a lifelong guide.
Those are such radiant tools, Sophia. Hahn's mindfulness, Tutu's joy, Lincoln's purpose. It's a blueprint for connection. As we close, what's one final piece of advice for listeners ready to listen to themselves today?
My biggest advice is to hear one inner whisper now. Listening starts with a single, gentle act of trust. Think of Fred Rogers, who said, "Listening is where love begins." His quiet attention touched millions. For me, it was journaling, a whisper that built a life I cherish. One last story, I coached a single dad named Brian, a clerk feeling invisible, his voice silent. We looked at Nelson Mandela, who listened in struggle, saying, "To be free is to live in a way that enhances the freedom of others." Brian paused, heard "I love teaching," he volunteered, became a tutor, and inspires his kids, radiant. If Brian can listen, so can you. Pause now, ask, "What do I feel?" Write it, feel it. That whisper guides a life true to you.
What a beautiful way to wrap up, Sophia. Brian's story, alongside legends like Rogers and Mandela, shows listening is universal. Thank you for sharing such profound wisdom and practical steps. I know our listeners are ready to tune into themselves.
Thank you, Emily, and to all the listeners. I hope you feel empowered to hear your truth and shine.
And that's it for today's episode of Journey to Success. If this conversation stirred your soul, and I'm sure it did, please hit that subscribe button to catch every transformative episode. Share this with someone ready to listen, and join us next time for more insights to fuel your journey. Until then, keep learning to listen to yourself, one gentle whisper at a time.